I think for me, the guiding tenet really is to lead by example. I don't think you can sensibly ask anybody to do anything or to behave in a way that is inconsistent with the way that you do things or behave. You can, but I think you lose credibility. And so the kind of secondary element of that, for me, really is about integrity and honesty and being real. And a part of that is transparency. And obviously in senior leadership positions, there's sometimes limits to the amount of transparency that one can share for obvious reasons. But I think it's all about building, for me, it's about building trust. There are obviously lots of different ways of doing this, but that's important for me. And then getting that balance of confidence in your ability and your ability to make decisions, but humility in the way that one goes about it and the recognition that you're not always going to get it right. And part of that, I think, is consulting, not over consulting. So consulting with diverse views and diverse opinions, but obviously being able to stand back and say, okay, I need to make a decision and this is it. And not everybody's going to be happy, but I'm satisfied it's the right decision and I'll explain why. Fundamentally, it's about believing in equality of opportunity. And the way I've looked at this over years is that, you know, ironically, I mean, the one thing over which not a single person in the world has any choice is the person to whom and where we are born. Mm-hmm. It just kind of happens to us, and it can't be right that factor over which we have had no input, no control, etc., can dictate a substantial part or possibly all of our future. And so for me, my journey started, like so many people, around gender equality, and then moved through race equality, and then social mobility was really, for me, bringing all of that together, because, you know, sadly, it's color, gender, sexual orientation, religion neutral, and none of those mean you're excluded from having a socio-economically disadvantaged background. And so by helping people in that environment to raise aspirations, get opportunities, and succeed in the business world, you're also aiding one of those other characteristics. So for me, it was a way of achieving a lot of the benefits that I'd been looking to achieve in the different sectionalized areas that I'd previously been focused upon. That's absolutely true. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. I remember a few years ago at Hogan Lovells, we looked at our recruitment for lawyers and the initial process of bringing potential future lawyers into it. And we realized that actually we could fill all of our available places by offering opportunities to the children of our best friends, clients, and ourselves. And that would be very easy, and we have a good talent pool. But it would be a hugely limited talent pool, because to continue the analogy, you would be fishing in a very, very small pool. But B, it was just excluding all of the people that you've just mentioned. And the reason was that they had nobody to open the door for them. So we decided that we were not going to do that. And we said we'd no to every request, which was quite a bold thing to do at the time. But, you know, to your point, I mean, we all need those kind of connections. We need people to say good things about us. We need people to open doors for us. And, you know, there are very few people out there who don't need somebody to at least show them the door, if not open it for them. And, you know, for me, I think that the only way for people without any of that to overcome that disadvantage is the moment they get access, to just milk it for all it's worth and just ask the questions and ask the favors, and don't be too proud or too embarrassed to say, can you help me with, or can you introduce me to, or neutralize it by saying, you know, do you know anybody who could help me with this? The answer might be, well, yes, of course I can. Why didn't you ask before? And I think once you start making those connections, that snowball effect starts to happen, and it rolls and it gets bigger and bigger, and you build your network. It takes time and it's not as easy. But that's my one kind of piece of advice. Never be too proud or nervous or whatever it is to just ask that basic question. If you don't ask, you'll never know what the answer might have been.